Good afternoon, St. Pius. This is Mrs. Timothy. Welcome back to my very messy studio. We are going to do an art activity for all ages today. And what I asked you to have today were paper and paint if you have paint, and crayons. Today I am going to use crayons. All right. I want to talk about this guy, this one guy. There's this guy. All right. His name, Bob Ross. Some of you know him. He was a painter back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He really looks like he's from the 70s with his hairstyle. But he was on TV in the 80s and 90s. He had a TV show teaching people how to paint. And he's just a great, happy, laid-back guy. And even though he's passed away, starting about 5 years ago, there was this resurgence, a renewal of interest in him. So I've seen Bob Ross images and Bob Ross items in like the AC Moore. Like he has his philosophy on art has come back and people love him. So what he really loved about art is that everybody could do it. He thought everyone could do it, and he always had like happy thoughts. There were no mistakes, only happy accidents. He just wanted everybody to be happy. And I think that my philosophy on art is very much the same. I love happy paintings. And I think that everyone, like all you kids in class, I think that you can all do visual artwork, some of in your own way. One of the things Bob Ross said was, we all want happy paintings. Happy paintings. And if you want sad things, watch the news, which is kind of funny since the news is incredibly sad nowadays, but you kind of got to keep up with things. So what we're going to do for today is we're going to channel our inner Bob Ross. We're going to think happy thoughts. We're going to think of pleasant things, fun things. We can take our paintings wherever we want them to go. Like Bob Ross said, let your imagination take you anywhere you want to go. Okay? So is everybody channeling their inner Bob Ross, thinking happy, good thoughts. I am Bob Ross. I'm going to be Bob Ross today. Okay? Bob Ross, all right? We are Bob Ross today. Happy things, fun. It's all fun and happy. Bob Ross, okay? All right, so here we go. Yesterday, we did a seascape. Do you remember this? And our paper was in the portrait position, a vertical position. Today, we are going to do a landscape drawing, which is an image of the land. And we're going to put our paper in the landscape position, which is horizontally, side to side. Okay, you need to lift this up. All right. But you know what? That's okay, bro. It's okay. It's okay. Bob Ross. All right. Yesterday, we put our whole background on first. We put the beach on, we put the ocean on, we put the sky, and then we did objects over top of it. But today, we're not going to do it quite that way. Because some of you, and I know some in my head right now I can think of, they're like, I don't want to see the background coming through my objects. I want my objects to stand out on their own, right? So we're going to do a landscape. I want to put some trees and some mountains and maybe even a stream, okay? This is very Bob Ross-like painting or drawing. I'm going to use my crayons. I'm going to use different colored crayons because you know what? We can make this look however we want it to look. All right, so I'm using green for trees, but I'm also using turquoise for trees. Let's see what else can I use for trees. Red. You know what? You know who does a lot of great trees? Dr. Seuss. Think of that, all right? So first, I want to put the trees in. I want to put the foreground things in. This time, we're going to work the opposite direction. We put the background in yesterday here. We're going to put the foreground things in today. The things that are close to you in the picture, and then put the background in behind them so you can really see the foreground things without seeing background lines, right? So I'm just going to put some fun trees. And if I think like of Dr. Seuss trees, which I love Dr. Seuss's drawings, my trees are going to be fun and funky, right? And you know who else is fun and funky? Bob Ross. Channel your inner Bob Ross, okay? Bob Ross. All right. All right. So I'm going to make my fun tree. I'm going to make 2 of these fun trees. They're kind of going to look like they're talking to each other, right? Because trees can talk to each other. In fact, as Bob Ross would say, you can talk to trees. There's nothing wrong with having a tree as a friend. That is a Bob Ross quote. And the more I read about Bob Ross, and you know, I watched Bob Ross as a kid. I remember Bob Ross being on TV. But now, the more I read now about Bob Ross, the more I like him. The more I like him. All right. So I got my 2 trees talking to each other here right in the foreground, right? I'm going to make another tree. I'm going to make this one look a little bit more like a Dr. Seuss tree, okay? Because Dr. Seuss made these great, like, umbrella-looking trees, right? Remember, you can take these trees wherever you want them to go. You make them look however you want them to look. Fun purple trees. In fact, instead of coloring them in, if you wanted to, you could make them have polka dots, you know, or stripes, which is what I'm going to do with the trunks of my trees. All right, I give my trees purple stripes on the trunk. I thought I picked a different purple, but I didn't. That's okay. Purple trees, purple stripes. Different. It's a little different. It's a little different. I got Brad behind the camera again today. Now, if you think that you made a line wrong, just remember what Bob Ross says. There are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. You just go with the line that you made and make it something different. Like he would say something like, oh, I started my tree too high there, right? And then he would go, okay, never mind that. Never mind that. You know what we're going to do? We're going to make that a bird. Now it's a bird. Right? We got birds flying up here. Right? Birds. Right? Now, I did want a turquoise tree. What should I make this tree look like? Oh, I'm going to make it look like a round lollipop. Alright? A round lollipop tree. Oh my goodness, I went into my other paper. See? Happy little accident. But now it looks like my tree is just on the edge of the page. Right? A round lollipop tree. Maybe I can make another round lollipop tree over here. It's looking like it's off the edge of the page. And now it's a little bit balanced. You know, I have a lollipop tree on one side and a lollipop tree on the other side.
These trees remind me of the Lorax.
The Lorax, yes, exactly. So now a good idea to really make your trees pop out in the foreground, because remember, you're going to put background in here, is just outline them maybe in black. All right? Outline them in a black marker or crayon. Like I'm using crayon. If you guys are using paint, you might want the paint to dry first before you try to outline them, because you don't want it to run all together, okay? But if you are using paint, paint these shapes on first and let them dry. Remember, use quick strokes, not a lot of water, so that they can dry really quickly and that you can move on to the next step with them, okay? All right, back this up a little bit. We have our fun trees. And in front of our fun trees, we're going to put a little stream, all right? Like it's running right in front of them, all right? Keep it simple, all right? Keep it simple until you want to add details that make it more complicated, which is fine. That's super. But if you start with simple shapes, lines, and coloring, at least you have the idea down and you can add to it. Let's put some grass here in the front. Let's see. Some greenish grass. Like along the stream, right? And we're going to make a grass line back here. It's kind of behind the trees a little bit. And this is where we're adding our background behind and around what we've already drawn, so that what's drawn is really easy to see and there's no background lines coming through it. Okay? All right.
Don't forget
now,
here.
Oh, yeah, on the other side of the stream, we can add a little bit of green there. All right. This, we can make some little bushes live down here. Oh my gosh, Bob Ross. He always added things, and he always gave them, each item, a life of its own. He'd be like, this is an individual bush. It's a happy little bush. Let's make some bushes live down here. All right? Happy little bushes right along the stream. Okay. So, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little mountain in the background. Mountain backgrounds are usually so distant that they're bluish or purplish. I'm going to make them bluish. So I have these mountains back here. I'm going to bring them up and down behind my tree line. See? And then I'm going to make these bluish mountains all the way back here. You can even make them a little purplish because they're in the distance. You can't really see their color. They don't look like they're green trees. They don't look like the brown of the dirt. They look bluish purple, okay? Because you're looking at them from far away through all of this atmosphere, through all the air. I know I'm using some big words, but that's okay. I think you can understand me. All right. And then the sky. Now, if you really want to make a brilliant, bright sky, like a sunny sky, you can make it yellow. A yellow sky really makes it look like it's a sunny day. Or you can make it like a turquoise sky, because turquoise makes it look like a sunny day. But I have turquoise trees, so since I have turquoise trees, I'm going to make my sky yellow. Okay? Again, I'm being very sloppy and quick for the sake of this video, and you of course can take your time. All right.
Looks like the sun's rising.
Oh, Brenna, very good. Looks like the sun is rising. Happy little sun. With our happy little trees.
Or like happy big sun.
And our happy birds. All right. So we have this lovely little landscape. Inspired by Bob Ross. And remember, you can take it wherever you want to go. So, you can do these, practice something different maybe. Like Bob Ross says, anything you're willing to practice, you can do. And I believe that too. All right? So, have a wonderful day. Have a happy and wonderful Bob Ross kind of day. Channel your inner Bob Ross. Happy thoughts. All right? Bye, St. Bye. See you tomorrow.